You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have a right to an attorney prior to or during any question. If you can't afford one, the court will appoint one for you. Do you understand your rights?
When the wolf is at your door, your running's over, that's for sure. He already knows all about you. Cut you down, no matter by you. Now you better walk the line. Real life, real crime.
Warning. This episode of Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast, may contain descriptions of acts of violence or that of a sexual nature and should be for people that are 18 years or older. Heed my warning, people. I do not get the facts of these cases off of the internet or from some television show. The facts I'm retelling you were presented to me by the victims of the crimes or the perpetrators who committed the crimes against the victims. My descriptions of the crime scenes, what I saw with my own two eyes. If you're going to get offended, please turn this podcast off now. Thank you. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast. And as always, I'm your host, Woody Overton. And today, I'm going to be beginning the series Scorched. And the first story in this series is entitled State of California versus Scott Peterson. And let's talk about this for a minute, y'all. Ever since I did Jessica Chambers' case under Scorched Justice and I had Scorched Justice Season 2 done away with for business reasons, people have continued to ask me almost daily to do these national cases. Now, the Scott Peterson case, I had heard of it, but certainly I didn't follow it. I didn't follow the trial. I didn't do all that stuff back in the time. I was an actual detective when this was going on, right? I was working my own cases, but I never really got into it, but I never understood. This is the most number one requested case that I've gotten, and I went through all of it. The people have requested that I cover since I began the podcast. And I never understood it. I never really understood the attraction to the story. Naturally, I knew it was a mom or soon-to-be mom and a wife who, ultimately was found murdered, and that he got convicted of it, he being Scott Peterson, and got the death penalty, et cetera, right? Well, I didn't really give I'm not trying to sound callous, but I didn't really give two shits about it. To me, it's another murder case. Didn't have anything to do with me. It's all the way out in California. Everybody in the world followed it. I didn't follow it, whatever, right? But this week, I think maybe by the time you get this, the Scott Peterson, and now I'm getting ahead of myself, but they commuted his death sentence to life. But he hasn't given an interview in 20 plus years. 20 years. And he's finally going to be given an interview from prison. I think it's going to be aired on Peacock. And they had some more stuff, and I'm going to tell you about it, that come up about he got a new order for DNA testing, and you got all these people that believe he's innocent. Well, you know what? I'm like, fuck it. I need to take the time and go in and research this and look at it and see, what the fuss is about. Okay. And so I did. And the more I got into it, the more I got into it. And the more I got into it, the more I got into it. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you thought Jessica Chambers' case was fucked, this case is fucked. I'm not saying that they got it wrong. I am telling you, I'm not saying one side fucked it up. I'm telling you both sides fucked it up, that being the prosecution and the defense. And I don't know that I've ever seen anything like this in 30 plus years that I've been handling cases in one form or another. I mean, it's just bad. Okay. And so as I went through things, I'm like, ooh, they fucked that up. And I was like, ooh, they fucked that up. And some of them that the national media never picked up on. And I'm coming at it from now I haven't been on both sides. I haven't been a homicide investigator and also having and still serving in the capacity as a defense expert, right? On cases and getting certified in all U.S. federal courts to do so. But they fuck stuff up. And like, a lot of it's the little things for me. And I'm like, holy smokes, you got to be kidding. Holy smokes, you got to be kidding. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this and this. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to break the story down Woody Overton style, and we're going to take it from the beginning all the way up to the current day where he's about to give his interview. And then by that time he gives the interview, I'll be ready to do an episode on that interview, because if I'm nothing else, you damn well better believe I'm interested to see how he's changed his ways, and by that I mean mentally, in his responses towards the police, and how he wants to explain away a lot of things that he fucked up in the case. And his his defense team just screwed up, and then the prosecution screwed up, and it's scorched. I mean, it is scorched. I've just, at one point, I just threw my hands up. I'm like, I can't fucking believe this is the United States justice system. And that's the truth. So I know you all know the story, but I'm going to tell it my way. And I'm going to paint you like I used to tell the people I interview on cases. They paint it for me like a movie, like I don't know anything about it. So let's get with it without further ado. So, two key players naturally are going to be Scott and Laci Peterson. All right. And Laci was born on May the 4th of 1975. So she's 5 years younger than me. And so she'd be 49 if she was alive today. And she was born Laci Denise Rocha. And she was the younger of two siblings. She had an older brother, right? So Sharon and Denise Robert Rocha, her parents, were high school sweethearts, and they built a great life for themselves in California. They owned and operated. You can't do one. I guess you could if you had the money to pay people, but they owned a dairy farm, and they operated the dairy farm. And as anybody knows, milking cows is a real motherfucker. I used to do it when I was a kid. You got to be there at 4 o'clock in the morning. You got to be there right before dark every day, twice a day, and milk them. It doesn't stop. The cow's titties don't take time off, right? But they did. It's a lot of other stuff that goes in. You got to grow the fields and feed and all, medicines, whatever. But so they did it. This is Laci's parents, and this was in California, somewhere west of a place called Escalon. But before Laci came along, they had her brother, Brent Rocha, who was born in 1971, so he was just a year younger than me. And it was 4 years later, like I told you, in 1975, that Laci blessed this world, y'all. And they said immediately, like, she was just the happiest baby. Of course, I think everybody says that. I just had a granddaughter, and we're all saying that about her, but maybe all babies aren't happy. I don't know. But they said she was just awesome. And she came into the world, blessed them, right? Absolutely. So according to her mom, Sharon, Laci was a happy baby who slept peacefully through the night. And if you get that, that's a real blessing, because all mine never slept more than 2 hours. But she said every morning when she'd go get her out of the crib, that Laci was standing on the crib or looking at her over the crib with a beautiful smile. For her mama, right? When
that'd melt your heart. And as a grandfather, I get the pictures every day of my baby girl, and she melts my heart. But Laci, now she's raised on a dairy farm. You're growing shit literally by the cows pooping and milking, but you know, you're gonna have vegetable gardens and all that. And they said Laci took to it like a fish to water. She, at a very young age, as early as they could remember, she started helping them on the farm, and she would weed the garden and pluck plants, weeds, and she wasn't a typical girl's girl who would be scared of cow poo. She'd get right up in it, right, in the dirt. She would just absolutely loved growing shit. Not shit, but she loved growing stuff and helping, and she was a farm girl. And her brother were tight, okay? They took care of each other. Naturally, I've assumed the brother that's 4 years older took more care of her than she did him. But and they grew up together in the Central Valley of California on that farm with their parents, right? But as does happen, and I think 50% of all marriages now, the parents split up and they got divorced. And the mama Sharon moved to the town of Modesto, California, which is in Stanislaus County. And I don't know if they did the custody shit back then, y'all, but she had Laci and Brent. But evidently it wasn't a really bad thing. Laci and Brent would go see the dad on the weekends on the farm, and Laci liked going to the farm and doing the farm girl stuff, right? Growing stuff mainly. But so life goes on, right? And the mama Sharon, she ends up meeting a guy named Ron Gransky, and he was a U.S. Navy intelligence tech veteran, right? And he had been awarded the Purple Heart. So I don't know if y'all know about that, but the Purple Heart is given to any U.S. soldier that has been wounded in some way. All right, and they're not talking about if you get a staple in your finger. It's got to be a legit wound, and they research, they mark, and they provide you with the medal. So, I mean, he's a veteran. He's retired from the Navy. He's got the Purple Heart. He is by all accounts, a good dude. And Sharon and he fell in love, and they got married, okay? And he raised Laci and Brent like they were his own, just like I did the middle part of my family. And actually, he gave Laci the nickname JJ for Jabberjaws. I guess she couldn't, I guess she talked a lot, right? And Laci grew up to be kind-hearted and free-spirited, and she just had that all-American smile and just a awesome personality, and everybody loved her. Now, this is according to everyone, y'all. I don't know how many hundreds of people they talked to over the years or have come forward throughout this case. She just is the all-American girl, the girl that you want to be so lucky to marry if you're a boy, right? Or, if you got a son, you want him to marry Laci, right? So, moving on. She was, like I told you, very, very popular, and she had tons of friends, and they were very loyal to her and adored her. When she was in junior high, she became a cheerleader. Well, that's pretty significant, right? You got to try out for it. Everybody knows cheerleaders are kind of popular, and this would be a bigger school, and she became a cheerleader in junior high. And guess what? When she went into high school, she made cheerleader again. Very popular. Everyone loved her. And she was an excellent student. One thing I definitely wasn't. And that high school I'm telling you about was a Thomas Downey High School. And but meanwhile, she's cheerleading and doing this with the friends and everything else. But the one thing she never quit doing was planting and growing things. She loved it. And as the years went on through high school and whatever, it became her passion, right? And we all hope our kids find that one thing that they're good at, that they're not just drawing a paycheck for, right? And chasing money that they love to do. But Laci loved plants, period. So when she graduates from high school, she enrolled at California Polytechnic State University in San Luis Obispo, where when she was there, now this isn't LSU size school, but it's still a pretty good size school. When she was there, she won the Outstanding Freshman Award, right? It's kind of a big deal. How the hell do you even get that? I can promise you that I was never in consideration for that. I mean, but they just said, hey, she was everybody loved her. She was beautiful. She worked hard. She made good grades. She threw herself into school activities, and she won the Outstanding Freshman Award. And she was awesome all through college. But you know what her major study was? Ornamental horticulture. So she's still growing shit, right? And I don't know exactly what that entails, but I know horticulture is growing shit, and that's what she loved. And so she graduates in ornamental horticulture. So that's Laci in her young years. Remember, I'm painting it like a movie for y'all. Now let me tell you about Scott Peterson. And Scott was born on two years after me, on October 24th of 1972. And he's born in San Diego, California. And y'all, I keep referencing my personal life, but my daughter blessed me to be a grandfather first time, and my baby girl was born in San Diego, and I'm headed there in just a couple of days. But anyway, he was born in San Diego, California, and his dad's name was Lee Arthur Peterson. And now his dad owned a crate and packaging company. And I would think in 1972, that's not shipping like it is now. I know there wasn't. Amazon Prime and whatever, and all these companies, but whatever, he carved himself a piece out of the shipping industry, where he packaged up crates, and evidently he did okay at it, right? And his wife was Jackie Helen Lathman, who ran a boutique in La Jolla, California, and the name of the boutique, kind of cute, was The Put On, right? I guess if you're going to sell clothes, you got to put them on. And now, when these two got together, they had already both been married before, and they had 6 other children before Scott from different relationships. But Scott was their love child, right? Scott was the only one that they had together. And, this hardworking family and the American dream. You own your own businesses. You're raising a passel full of kids, 7 of them now. And Scott, when he was a boy, he shared a bedroom with his half brother John, and they actually lived in a 2-bedroom apartment in La Jolla. And that's typical, right? When I was a young boy, there were 7 of us. I shared a room with my brother until one of them would graduate and go away to college, and then he got his own room, and then I got my room, what have you. So that's typical. And when you share rooms together like that, you're tight, right? And I mean, literally tight when you live in a 2-bedroom. So Scott, he didn't really want for anything. He was middle class, to say the least, and he began playing golf when he was really young. I don't know exactly the age, but I know it was before age 14. And because by age, when he was 14 years old, he could beat his dad, Lee Arthur. He could beat him at golf, right? By the time, like my son, when he was not first born, but when he was a couple years old, I'm playing PlayStation, I'd let him beat me at some of the games or whatever. Now he just beats my ass in anything that we play. Well, I mean, Dad might have let Scott beat him in the beginning, but he's teaching him. But he said he just was a natural. And by the time he turned 14, he beat me, right? So I get that. He's raising him. He's got a good family life.
Spark something uncommon this holiday with just the right gift from Uncommon Goods. The busy holiday season is here, and Uncommon Goods makes it less stressful with incredible hand-picked gifts for everyone on your list, all in one spot. Gifts to spark joy, wonder, delight, and that's exactly what I wanted feeling. Hey, y'all, I ordered a super cool piece. It's a candle with a sculpture of LSU's Tiger Stadium on top of it. And each officially licensed laser cut wooden replica features up to 4 layers of detail, creating a bird's eye view of a specific football field, seating section, and more. And every label includes your stadium's name, the team's logo, and school location. And it has a coconut, soy, vegan wax infused with sandalwood smell that creates tailgates and touchdown scent profile, reminiscent of game day. It's invigorating like fresh cut grass and nostalgic like smoke from a pre-game grill, and calming like the crisp autumn air of a new semester on campus. Y'all, I love it. I have it at the base of my TV, and I'm ready to watch the Tigers play on Saturday night, right? Uncommon Goods. Look, when you shop at Uncommon Goods, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses. And many of their handcrafted products are made in small batches. So shop now before they sell out this holiday season. Uncommon Goods looks for products that are high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the U.S. They have the most meaningful, out of the ordinary gifts anywhere. They even have gifts you can personalize. From holiday hosts and hostess gift to the coolest finds for kids, to hits for everyone from the book lovers to diehard sports fans. Uncommon Goods has something for everyone, not the same old selections you can just find anywhere. And with every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they give $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They've donated more than $3 million to date. So to get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/RLRC. That's uncommongoods.com/RLRC for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary. Hey ladies, are you feeling overwhelmed by hormonal changes? Well, you're definitely not alone. There are more than 1,000 hormone disruptors living in our environment right now. It's in your food, your water, the air you breathe, the clothes you wear, your skincare products. They all mess with your hormones. Then there's the natural hormone changes your body goes through, premenopause, menopause. And while it's a natural process, it doesn't mean you have to suffer through it. The good news is you don't have to suffer through it anymore, because now you have Hormone Harmony, a formula made only with herbal ingredients that are shown to reduce hormonal symptoms in women of all ages. Hormone Harmony is not just a hormone supporting supplement, it's become a phenomenon. Women can't stop talking about it on social media. A bottle of Hormone Harmony is sold every 24 seconds. And the biggest benefit? Well, my wife says it makes her feel like her own self again. And that's what women mention over and over in the reviews. And there are over 30,000 reviews for Hormone Harmony. And for a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use code RLRC at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC for 15% off today. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC.
Nothing, no problems. Everything's cool. And Scott loved golf, and he wanted to become a PGA golfer. And he just like Laci sought out agriculture, Scott sought out golf, and he ended up going to the University of San Diego High School, all right, where he was teammates with future pro Phil Mickelson. I don't even watch golf that much, and I've heard his name. And so they were teammates on the golf team. And by the end of high school, Scott was one of the top junior golfers in San Diego. And he was also, he was a great student. I mean, he showed up for class on time. He made really good grades. You know, did all the shit that I didn't do coming up, and he's focused on golf, on the golf team. So high school ends, it always does, and in 1990, Scott enrolls at Arizona State University, which Phil Mickelson had also gone there. Now they're two pretty good golfers, right? But Scott goes on a partial golf scholarship. Well, that's love. As a parent, I know his parents are proud as fuck. And later on, Scott's father, Lee, testified that Scott was discouraged by the amount of competition that Phil Mickelson and some other future pro presented on the team, and that so he ended up quitting it at Arizona State. But according to another father, a guy named Chip Couch, who was the father of another golfer, Chris Couch, he said Scott was kicked off the team after they discovered that Scott had taken Chip out drinking. Chris Couch out drinking while he was visiting Arizona State for a recruiting trip. It's illegal. NCAA, you're not supposed to take them out drinking and get them girls and shit like that, or give them any kind of gifts. Because Chip ultimately told the Arizona State golf coach, and the golf coach said, "Fuck you, I'm not losing my scholarships, and then the NCAA's not going to get me," and he kicked Scott off the team, right? And, well, when you get kicked off the team, you lose your scholarship. So Scott loses his money. Arizona State is expensive as fuck. And Scott transfers to Cuesta College. And maybe he didn't like it there so much, but because ultimately he would transfer to the California Polytechnic State University. Sound familiar? All right. And so we begin. Scott wanted to major in international business. I guess he's looking at his daddy growing up thinking, I don't want to just do local shipping and packaging, right? But he ended up graduating with a degree in agricultural business. Well, there is your first tie to Laci, agriculture business. And, California, agriculture is the shit. You go out there in the places, and that's where, the tomatoes and the cabbages and lettuce and all that shit is grown, oranges and everything else. So, okay, well, I changed my major numerous times in college, and so I get that. So the professors who taught Scott, again, just like in high school, they said he's a model student, and his main professor and what he graduated in agricultural business is a guy named Jim Ahern. And he said, when they interviewed him afterwards, he said, I wouldn't mind having a class full of Scott Petersons. Well, also Scott had a few nicknames that he went by, y'all. One was the Kid, and that's because he was the youngest of his siblings. And they also called him Scooter Spalding, which is a reference to Scooter Too Hottie, the golfer. All right, so what happens? Now, remember I told you that Scott had also transferred to California Polytechnic State University. And this is a place where Laci's been the whole time. And she won the Best Student of the Year award as a freshman, and she no doubt was a model student and all that stuff, right? So you're in college, and a lot of people meet their spouses in college, and the hormones are raging, and the parties are raging, and I don't think Laci was that much of the party girl, but what happens is this: that Scott goes to California Polytech State University, and while he's there, he gets a job at a place called the Pacific Cafe, which is or was a restaurant in Morro Bay. Now, Laci was a little hottie, right? All-American smile, the black hair, beautiful. Everybody loved her. And she would go to the Pacific Cafe to see her friend who also worked there. We used to do the same thing. I waited and bartended. People, my buddies would come see me. A lot of times I'd slide them drinks or whatever on the sly, or I'd go see them. They were working. The same thing. Usually you're waiting for them to get off so you can go out and hang out and do, some college shit, right? And in mid-1994, during one of these encounters, now, remember, this is pre-internet. This is pre-cell phone. This is pre-everything. Back then, we used to get numbers on napkins. And you, like the girl, you'd have to say, let me get those digits. I never said that, but that's one of the slang sayings. Certainly, I had millions of digits, but I never said, let me get your digits. But Laci and they meet. And Laci meets Scott in the restaurant, and sometime around June of 1994, Laci actually wrote her phone number down for Scott, and she liked him. She liked him a lot. And when she went home, and her and her mama were always close, and she went home, she said, "Hey, Mom, I met the guy that I'm going to marry. His name's Scott Peterson. And I go see so-and-so at the Pacific Cafe, and I've been seeing him, and I met him," and she said, I gave him my phone number, right? So it progresses, and Scott's no dummy, and he's proved through this whole fucking case he's no dummy. Scott calls Laci, right? What up? And then ask her out on a date, and they began dating, and they clicked. And hey, Scott's a good-looking dude too, right? So they're together, good-looking couple, all-American couple, and they date and they get into a relationship, and it grows more serious. All right. Now, Scott said at this time that he gave up his dream of being a professional golfer to focus more on his business career, because he knew he's going to have a family, and he knew he needed to take care of Laci and all that. And he knew, he was very good at golf, but he wasn't good enough to make money on the Professional Golf Association tour. And they dated for 2 years, right? A fair long amount of time. And sooner or later, they figured, you know what? It'd be a lot cheaper if we lived together. And so they moved in together. And in August of 1997, Laci had graduated, and next step in life, what do you do? Well, Scott asked her to marry him. She said yes, and they got married at the Sycamore Mineral Springs Resort. Now Scott was still in college, and he still had to finish the senior year. I guess all the transfers, the credits and transfer, et cetera. And while he's working to finish his senior year, Laci gets a job in a place called Prunedale, and it was pretty close by. And that is, I don't know about this part, y'all, and I'll talk about it later on. They said Scott had numerous other affairs when he was married to Laci, and there's a sidebar for this for right now. They said it was around this time that Scott engaged in his first extramarital affair, which is pretty fucking quick after you get married, but it's neither here nor there on whether he's guilty or not guilty on this case, or she be convicted or not be convicted. And they never really gave out details of the relationship. I guess they looked into it, didn't figure it was relevant to the case. But Scott goes on, and he graduates with a Bachelor of Science degree in agriculture business in June of 1988. So just about a year later. And the Petersons opened up a sports bar in San Luis Obispo called The Shack. I always wanted to have a sports bar. The Petersons then put it up for sale, the shack. They had enough of it. They put it up for sale, and they moved back to Laci's hometown of Modesto, California, where they planned on starting a family, right? And so when they get there, they take their time, they look around, and they found a 3-bedroom, 2-bath bungalow for $177,000, probably fair market value back then. And it was on Covina Avenue, and it was in an upscale neighborhood near East Loma Park. Okay, so they sell the shack in April 2001, and was completed in April 2001. And in October 2001, that's when they bought that 3-bedroom, 2-bath. All right, moving on. So Laci, they move home. She's a little worker bee, right? Always working. She took a part-time job as a substitute teacher. And Scott hustles out, and he gets a job. Nobody said the dude's lazy. He gets a job with Trade Corp USA. And now the Trade Corp kind of goes in with the international business, but more importantly, it sticks to his roots in agriculture, which he graduated in, because it was a newly founded subsidiary of a European fertilizer company. And, I told you, in that area, you ever go out there, I've seen it, it's very agriculture, and to make shit grow, you got to have fertilizer. All right, so he takes this job, he settles in, fresh out of college in early 2001, he was making $5,000 a month before taxes. That's a pretty decent salary for 2 people, and she's substitute teaching. And you think today that's not a lot, but I mean it's a good lick. It's a good paycheck, and you should be comfortable. You're excited. You got a beautiful wife. You got a job that you studied for. And of course, everybody that graduates take the first job they can in their field when they get out of college, and they pay their dues in that field until somebody offers them a better job. And at least that's how it happened for me, and probably what Scott was hoping for. But $5,000 a month, and she's substitute teaching. I mean, you could be comfortable, and you got a house note, and you're all American. Love it, right? So Laci's family, including her mom and her younger sister, said that she absolutely devoted every ounce of energy she had, besides when she was sub-teaching, to being the perfect housewife, right? And look, her shit was kept clean. She kept it clean. Scott always had good clothes and was ready to go to work, and she had dinner on the table. And they just said she really enjoyed cooking. And they liked having friends over. They enjoyed entertaining. You live in the prime of your life. And man, I remember those years before you have kids and shit. You and your friends get together and you start to bitch like old men do about your work first of all, and then you might talk about your wives or whatever. But you're grilling some burgers in the backyard, slamming back a few beers, and wives are in the house taking care of shit. It's just all American shit, man. But Laci was all about it. And one of the things she loved and added to her cooking, I guess this is when people started getting away from cookbooks. She loved watching Martha Stewart. And I don't know, Martha Stewart went to prison. We all get that too. I don't know. All right. So, but in 2002, like a year, almost 2 years later, since they live in an all-American dream, Laci discovers that she's pregnant. Well, that's pretty exciting time too. This is what you work for. You grew up, you got the values, your parents instill the values in you the best they can. Can you imagine how proud her parents were of her? here's our daughter. She married a beautiful guy. He's got a good job. They live in a nice home. She's got her degree from college. We did what we could do. And I can really relate to this because this is the point I'm in my life with all except for WL. Now you got to watch them run, watch them grow, live in, and just what you instilled in them all those years, the good times and the bad times and the great times and the sad times, all the things you instilled upon them. Now you get to sit back and watch the fruit of your labors. Well, nothing. All that house and the jobs and having a beautiful husband and who's a good dude and all that is great, but holy smokes. And you have that first that grandbaby coming, and I just went through it for 9 months, and you got that grandbaby coming, man, it just puts a whole different spin on things. And it's somebody else you got to add to your prayers at night, right? Even before they're born. And this is what they did. And her mom and them said she was just all about it. And when she discovered she was pregnant, she was ecstatic. And she told Scott, and he acted like he was super, super happy, right? And they did all the couple shit, the doctor's visits. You go in and listen to the heartbeat. Ever seen that? And I see it really. That little baby's heartbeat's going like, I don't know, 140 beats a minute, like they do in mouth. But you do all that shit as a young couple. You go in, and back then gender reveal parties weren't prevalent like they are now. I don't know if they had one. I couldn't find anything about that. But at some point, they find out that baby's got a PP. He's going to be a boy, right? And could you imagine? Now, my oldest was born, and I always wanted the boy and all that. But I had a daughter, and I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. But I remember the day when they took the picture of the stuff, and the nurse said, or the technician, whatever, said, I can't see if it's a boy or girl. The baby won't open its legs. And I said, well, if it's a girl, it better stay that way. Joke. But I can imagine how proud any regular man would have been if that baby opens his legs and it's a boy, right? And now you can get to be a daddy. And mom's beaming. She gave her man a baby boy, or is giving her man a baby boy. And they absolutely did everything. She did everything, and probably then some, that she was supposed to do to bring the baby to term, to be born, at least as far as she could anyway. And they, like all couples do, you go through all the list of names and this and that, and you got family names, you got friend names, and you just got names that you think are cool and all this stuff. But they decided to ultimately call him Connor. Okay? Laci and Scott Peterson decided to name their son Connor. And her due date was February 10th of 2003. Now, to just cap this all-American dream team family life, isn't it beautiful thus far? Everything is just rolling absolutely. You couldn't ask for it to go any better. But let's just cap it off with this. Not only do they have the home and the job and the beautiful couple, and now Connor's on the way. Hey y'all, let me tell you about Gobble. All Gobble meal kits are pre-prepped. That means less work for you and less waste in your kitchen. Their meal kits include everything you need so you can save time at the store or just skip that trip entirely. I got the box in, and I had 3 different meals. I had a Kung Pao chicken, crispy fish tacos, and a beef bourguignon, however you say it. But let me tell you about the classic beef bourguignon. Look, it came with beef pot roast and a beef broth concentrate, red wine demi-glace, cremini mushrooms, cipollone onions, mashed potatoes, baby carrots, and rosemary thyme butter. It was so easy to make. Literally like 15 minutes it took Cindy. And let me tell you something. And all the dishes were fire, but this thing was like a taste explosion in my mouth. It's just unreal. We got to spend more time together and more time doing the things we love because everything came in this one single box right to my door. So see what a difference God will make for your household. Right now, they're offering my listeners a fantastic limited time deal. You get $120 off across 4 boxes, plus free shipping and free cookies. And let me tell you, those cookies, I ate one that was sin baked and it was delicious. Go to gobble.com/real life. That's GOBBLE.com/real life for $120 off your first 4 boxes. This offer is not available on the home site, so don't miss out. This is genius. It's taste explosions in your mouth like you never had. Hey, y'all, changing my wardrobe from summer to fall, it's never easy. Luckily, Quince offers timeless and high-quality items I adore, ensuring my wardrobe stays fresh and I don't blow my budget. And there's nothing easier than going to Quince and choosing these high-quality items, like cashmere sweaters from $50, pants for every occasion, washable silk tops, and so much more. The best part? All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. By partnering directly with top factories, Quince cuts out the cost of the middleman and passes the savings on to us. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes, and I love that. I got the stainless steel Link Apple Watch band for $59.90. It's heavy duty, it's awesome, and it's like $100 less than I could find anywhere else. And I also got a 100% organic cotton fisherman quarter zip up sweater. The color is alabaster. Man, I can't wait to wear that this fall. And Cindy got the Mongolian cashmere boat neck sweater in heather gray. And I'm telling you, these are classic pieces at a fraction of the price. Make switching seasons a breeze with Quince's high-quality closet essentials. Go to quince.com/RLRC for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/RLRC to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/RLRC. You'll thank me later. And you know what else they did? During that time that they had been married, they got pretty much has to be the all-American dog, a golden retriever named Mackenzie. And they had 2 cats. Doesn't get any better than that, y'all. It doesn't get any better than that. It's a dream come true. Parents are proud. They're proud. Laci's proud. Scott's proud, we think. And Connor's on the way. That is until December the 24th. And I'll tell you about that on the next episode of Scorched, State of California versus Scott Peterson. And y'all, that's that one. It's simply the episode to set everything up and get it out of the way. Now we're going to take the deep dive into exactly what happened according to Scott Peterson's words, because we don't have any other ones. Now, we have lots of eyewitnesses. We have lots of testimony. Lots of people that say this and lots of people that say that. And so we'll put the whole story together like that. But this is where I can't tell you what's fucked up until it's fucked up. Or it's scorched until it's scorched. And on December 24th, things start. And so in the preceding or the following episodes, I am going to tell you exactly how Scorched, California versus Scott Peterson is. So leave it at that. And Patreon members, convicts, Apple subscribers, thank you so much. We love and appreciate every one of y'all. Look, if you're one now, you're really going to love it come November, because I'm going to open up a whole new everything level of benefits and things that y'all are going to get that you don't get now. And I can't start them. Side deals I have, and I can't start them until then for different reasons. I'll let you know then. But thank you for your support, and I hope you enjoyed your bonus episode. Love and appreciate each and every one of y'all. All lifers, love and appreciate each and every one of y'all. Look, Real Life, Real Crime, the original, after November 1, I'll explain everything to you. But business is business, unfortunately. But stick with us and go to the Real Life, Real Crime Community app. Download it for free from the App Store. Doesn't cost you anything. I go there every single morning when I have my coffee. I go there first and respond to people. It's very seldom there's a day in the week that goes by that I don't go on there and respond, right? And then after that, if I have time, I'll go to the crew page and all, like 6 or 7 other different social media sites we have. If you have any cold cases, and you have, I've been blessed. I'm not gonna let the cat out of the bag yet, but I got a family just like Miss Stephanie and Courtney Coco's family had the complete file for me. I got a family, I'm not saying where yet, that has a complete case file on their loved one's murder, and we're gonna do it. I'm about to start recording it this week coming, but it won't be released for a couple months, and we're going to do it. And then I got another family, and this is a really cold case. It'll probably be the coldest one that ever worked, but it's legit. And I know the victim's daughter. And it's a funny story about that, but I'll tell you about it later on. So, but if you have a lot of information, okay, and you're serious about me looking into your family's case, or look, we're not going to be able to solve them all. And I want y'all to please continue to call in your tips from Miss Barbara Blunt. I believe that case is going to be solved. I know it in my heart. I just don't know when. And it's not going to happen without one of y'all calling in the straw that broke the camel's back. Send it in. So you send it to Woody at realliferealcrime.com. All right. And look, I get requests every day, and people just send me, hey, Woody, you heard about such and such case in Timbuktu? And I mean, I get thousands of people that I'm trying to respond to if I can or whatever. And I stop and take the time to say, if you have any information on it, please send it to Woody at realliferealcrime.com. And 9 times out of 10, I never hear from him again. Right. So if you're serious about it, and look, like I said, we're not going to be able to solve every one of them, but at least we can tell the story. If we have enough information, we can tell the story and make it lifers know about the victims. And hopefully, you know what? I'm not saying that we're not going to be able to solve something, because I believe that we can. But the old school shit is coming. Boots on the ground, people. Stick with us just a little bit longer. Been a lot of changes, going to be a lot more, but it's going back to the real life, real crime roots based people. All right. So that being said, I love and appreciate each and every one of y'all. Please go like and listen. Oh, let me say this. Some motherfucker on TikTok took my real life, real crime emblem, and it looked, you search Real Life, Real Crime on TikTok. I didn't notice it till the other day, because I very seldom get on there, but it has mine, Real Life, Real Crime, the darker color fingerprint and the blood with the Real Life, Real Crime. And then it has the one in white with the red and the black writing. And the motherfucker has named his shit Real Life, Real Crime, and then this did like a hashtag whatever, something zombie underneath. He's got like 27,000 followers. Now, he hasn't posted since May, but I think that's fucking bullshit. So if you do go follow us on TikTok, I do post cooking videos and shit in there. Make sure it's Woody. Real Life, Real Crime by Woody Overton, not Zombie Head, fuckface if you're listening. Anyway, all that good podcaster shit, right? Love y'all. Thank you. In LOPA, Louisiana Organ Procurement Agency. You do not have to be from the state of Louisiana. You can be, I'm looking around and find a state or something. You could be a lifer from, let's say, from Modesto, California. You could be a lifer from Modesto, California. If you want to become an organ donor, go to lopa.org, sign up, take 2 minutes, fill out the questionnaire, and give the gift of a life and sight and all that good shit that they do. And they're a nonprofit. I'm going to support them to the day I die or quit podcasting. Well, I'll support them to the day I die regardless. And go sign up, people, and be a hero. And I'm Woody Overton, your host of Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast. And until next time or ever, don't let me catch you down on Murder Bayou. Peace.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have a right to an attorney prior to or during any question. If you can't afford one, the court will appoint one for you. Do you understand your rights?